right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Showers are working up Highway 44 towards our area right now. The Weather First timeline as you make your Thanksgiving gathering plans.
And we all know the amount of stolen cars is skyrocketing. Now a famous charity is the latest victim. How it affects the Red Kettle campaign. But first tonight, Team Red versus Team Blue.
We're here as a community gathering in the Enterprise Center to also celebrate law enforcement and celebrate the survivors.
Organizers of the Thanksgiving Eve tradition fighting for the $1 million mark.
Tonight, firefighters and police officers duked it out in the boxing and MMA ring. Good evening. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. The 35th annual Budweiser Guns and Hoses event just wrapped up at Enterprise Center, and our Laura Barczewski was there and joins us now live. Laura.
Mike and Anna, it was a big night. This tradition has been long-standing on Thanksgiving Eve here in St. Louis, and it was sold out. Big deal tonight here at Enterprise Center. Now, as for the winners, the red team won 9-3. That group was made up of mostly firefighters, but they say the real winners here are the families supported by the Backstoppers.
Let the gloves fly. People packed Enterprise Center to support their favorite first responders in the annual Guns and Hoses boxing and MMA tournament.
You know, some people play checkers, some people play bags, and where we come from is we fight, you know, and then at the end of the night, you get to give each other trouble tomorrow at Thanksgiving dinner, and, you know, and we're all in it for the right reasons, and that's the Backstoppers to give back.
Joe Siebert with the Arnold Police Department fought for the first time tonight. He and many others have been training for most of the year, if not longer, as this event means so much to them because of the support for Backstoppers.
If you got to witness it firsthand and seeing how the families are taken care of after the fallen or seriously injured, it's remarkable. You know, knowing that you can go to work, you can sacrifice your life or the safety for a stranger to know that your family, the debts, and everything's taken care of.
The families of 7 fallen firefighters and law enforcement officers were honored tonight. Jefferson College Police Chief Don Reif is one of the fallen. He lost his life to COVID-19 in January of this year. His daughter says she's here to honor his legacy.
As you move through life, you have tethers that keep you grounded, tethers that keep you moving forward in the right direction. He was my tether. My mom actually passed away in 2008, and he raised me and my other 2 siblings as a single parent since then.
Caitlin Reif says her family chose to forego financial support from the Backstoppers so that another family in need could benefit.
We decided the single mom left with 2 kids or 3 kids and has no idea how to move forward and no idea how to pick her life back up. She's far more needing of that than we are.
So they're packing up all around us right now, as it was a great and successful event. In the 50-50 raffle alone, they raised $57,000. But we won't know the final amount of the entire event raised until February. And you can still donate to Backstoppers at any time. We'll have a link on ksdk.com with all the information you need. And it goes for a great cause to support those families of fallen law enforcement and firefighters. Reporting live from Enterprise Center, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
Well, right now, some light rain is moving toward the St. Louis area, but is it enough to dampen your Thanksgiving plans?
Let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with the Weather First forecast. Scott?
Well, Ann and Mike, we may have some scattered showers around just in time for some of those turkey trots tomorrow morning. And the rain is going to be off and on, and more on than off as you go farther south of St. Louis. Still some folks out on the roads tonight traveling, trying to get to Grandma's house in time for Thanksgiving tomorrow. There's traffic on Interstate 70 out in St. Charles. Temperatures for most of us are still in the 40s. We have a few spots that have dropped into the upper 30s. And yes, there is some rain on the radar, especially looking to the southwest of St. Louis. Down 44, the Vichy Raleigh Airport has reported a few raindrops, very light at this point, but you'll notice it's picking up as you head down into Oklahoma and Texas and moving northeastbound. That's what we'll be dealing with tomorrow. So while it's not a washout, have that umbrella handy during the day tomorrow. Temperatures start out in the 40s, will likely plateau in the upper 40s for most of the afternoon, might get into the low 50s briefly between rain showers. And then we have another system to deal with before the long weekend is done. That looks to be a pretty decent rain producer. More on that in 12 minutes, Mike.
All right, Scott, thanks. Tonight, a charity dedicated to helping those in need in the St. Louis region, especially around the holidays, could now use a little help of its own.
Someone recently stole one of the Salvation Army's vehicles. Our Robert Townsend's live downtown with more on the pre-holiday theft.
And Mike, in recent months, car-related crimes have taken off all across St. Louis, and now the Salvation Army, you can add them to that growing list of victims.
Thank you so much for your donation.
The folks at the Salvation Army are excited to ring in the 75th anniversary of their Tree of Lights campaign.
3, 2, 1.
The historic Christmas event is the nonprofit's biggest fundraiser.
And the money that's raised every year helps to fund not just our work at Christmas with the toys and the food and things like that, but it also provides help throughout the year.
But now, right at Thanksgiving,
and I believe it was over here in this office,
a thief has left the folks here singing an early Bah Humbug.
Well, it's very upsetting.
On the night of November 15th, the Salvation Army hosted its weekly community dinner at its Temple and Community Center on Arsenal. Major Steinsland says while workers were feeding and helping families in need,
I'm not sure where their hearts are at, but it was not in the right place.
A heartless soul was helping theirself to the agency's 2017 white Chevy Traverse. The cruel culprit stole the vehicle, similar to this one, right off the organization's unlocked parking lot.
It was somebody in the community, maybe the local community, who knew their way around, had been here before.
He says that because the crook took the keys from a drawer in their office and took off with one of their 4 vehicles. The Army's staff uses the SUV year-round for a variety of services.
Oh, that's a shame. I'm sad to hear that.
They didn't deserve that at all.
Bell ringers like 19-year-old Sam Crozier also rely on the wheels to pick up and distribute Christmas toys to needy kids.
All we're trying to do is do good out here.
I think the campaign will be fine, but for this local office, it does make their job that much more difficult.
The Salvation Army hopes to raise more than $6 million during its Tree of Lights campaign. In the meantime, they're focusing on installing security cameras at that center. Live downtown, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Tonight, we know a stolen car was involved in a deadly crash in South St. Louis. The crash happened at Gravois and Merrimack late last night. Police say a Cadillac, which was stolen from Eureka, hit the back of a Chevy SUV. 2 women inside the Chevy died at the scene. We were there as the brother of the owner of the stolen car showed up at the crash scene today.
I'm so sorry that some people lost their lives over this. And this car stealing out there in Eureka is out of control. Any way, shape, or form, it needs to stop.
The driver of the stolen car is being treated at a hospital. St. Louis police have not yet identified the victims. We reached out to Eureka police to ask them if there were any stolen vehicle reports, and they declined to comment.
Developing tonight, an 11-year-old Metro East boy is in critical condition after what police are calling an accidental shooting. It happened this afternoon off of Lebanon Road near Main Street in Belleville. Tonight, the victim is being treated at a St. Louis hospital. Police took a 19-year-old man into custody and were told he's a relative of the boy.
In just 6 days, inmate Kevin Johnson is scheduled to be executed for killing Kirkwood police officer William McEntee 17 years ago. Those who know Johnson from his childhood are calling for an alternative to death.
Our Brent Solomon is just back from speaking with Johnson's supporters. Brent?
Yeah, Mike and Ann, some of those supporters include Johnson's former teachers who tell me they understand he committed the crime. They just feel there should be a different option than execution. Take a look at your screen now. You can see that group forming in a prayer circle. This was at the Kirkwood Recreational Center this evening. The very first thing they did was acknowledge the pain the family of Johnson's victim is going through right now. When he was 19 years old, Johnson shot and killed Kirkwood officer William McEntee, who showed up to Johnson's home to serve an arrest warrant. Johnson, who is now 37, is set to be executed Tuesday, but there's an emergency hearing happening outside of the Capitol come Monday, and that's in hopes of delaying his execution. Those who know him are hoping it will somehow lead to a different penalty altogether.
He is simply asking that instead of the death penalty and being placed on that gurney and having those needles put in his arm, he's simply asking for life without parole. He's well aware he will die in prison, but in the years that he has left, he can make an incredible difference in our world. He already is.
He contributes to this world in a very, very positive way and has so much benefit. We have to look at his humanity, and the governor has an amazing opportunity to choose and prioritize life and to grant Kevin clemency.
Now 5 on Your Side has been in touch with someone close to the McEntee family. They say it's just too emotional for them to talk right now. McEntee was a husband and a father of 3. You can hear more from Johnson supporters in a video that is now posted with this story on KSDK.com.
Brent, thanks. Tonight we know who will be the next Missouri Attorney General. Governor Mike Parson has tapped Andrew Bailey to replace Senator-elect Eric Schmitt. Bailey currently serves as the governor's general counsel. The last 2 Republicans who led the AG's office are now in the U.S. Senate. Bailey, who's never run for political office, says he plans to run for re-election in 2 years.
The office needs stability, and so I intend to provide precisely that.
He's going to have the full resources to govern the state of Missouri. I picked him for that job, and on the political side, I'll do everything I can to make sure of that.
House Democratic Minority Leader Crystal Quade is calling on Bailey to drop what she calls frivolous lawsuits filed by Schmitt. This includes suing school districts for COVID protocols and critical race theory curriculum. Bailey says he needs to review those lawsuits before making any decisions.
Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and that means parades. Ameren's Thanks for Giving parade will take place in downtown St. Louis. More than 100 floats, marching bands, and dance groups will take part. And there's a new route this year. The parade will step off from City Park at 9 a.m. and will head down Market Street, ending in front of the Stiefel Theater. A reminder, many grocery stores will be closed for the holiday tomorrow. If you need a last-minute grocery run, you do have some options. We've got them. Just text the word OPEN to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you the list.
Tonight, concerns of a triple-demic, the vital medicine for children missing from pharmacy shelves. The thought doesn't always count. Sometimes those holiday gifts have to go back to the store. Tonight, the stores with the best and worst return policies.
The raindrops we're seeing Thanksgiving Day, that's from the first weather system over the long holiday weekend. The Weather First team tracking when that second system arrives and how heavy the rain will be.
Tonight, we're seeing the faces of the 6 Walmart workers gunned down last night by their manager inside the break room of their Virginia store. The victims range in age from 16 to 70. At least 4 other people were wounded before the shooter turned the gun on himself. Police say the 31-year-old gunman, who worked at the store since 2010, came armed with a handgun and multiple magazines.
Tonight, the so-called triple-demic this holiday, RSV, the flu, and COVID. There's now a shortage of some medications. In Buffalo, New York, store shelves normally filled with children's Tylenol are empty. Pharmacists blame a shortage in nearby Canada. Johnson & Johnson, the maker of Tylenol, says there's no overall shortage in the U.S., and they're doing everything they can to make sure their products are available. Relief at the pump tonight for 54 million Americans hitting the road for Thanksgiving. Gas prices are at the lowest level since February. In St. Louis, the average is around $3.06 per gallon, but many stations are now below $3. And over in the Metro East, drivers are paying around $3.70. Despite the good news, AAA says the national average of $3.61 is still the highest price ever for Thanksgiving week.
After the meal comes the deals. Stores will welcome shoppers this weekend with holiday bargains, knowing many shoppers are coming in with tighter budgets. The most discounted items this season, everything from TVs and laptops to home appliances and beauty products. Many clothing retailers are also offering deep discounts as they try to unload excess inventory from last year's supply chain issues. And when it comes to holiday gifts, they always say it's the thought that counts. May or may not be true, depending on if you can return it for something you actually want.
While some stores will let you return anything, even without a receipt, others are more strict. Tonight, Consumer Reports breaks down the stores with the best and worst return policies.
Don't feel bad if they don't like the gift. Feel bad if they can't return it and you've wasted your hard-earned money. Nordstrom has one of the most lenient policies, generally with no time limit and no receipt required on most returns. But that's not the norm this year.
Some retailers have made their return policies a little bit more restrictive this year, whether they've ended expanded COVID policies or they're offsetting increased costs due to inflation. What this means for you as a shopper is that if you're thinking of buying anything you might need to return, make sure you read that policy carefully first.
Bed Bath & Beyond used to give shoppers a full year to make returns, but now the return window is 90 days for most items, less for electronics and smart home products. LL Bean used to allow returns with no time limit and no receipt required, but now customers have 1 year and only if you can show proof of purchase. Kohl's gives shoppers up to 180 days for returns on most purchases. No receipt, no problem. The store can look up previous purchases. You'll have 90 days to return items at Walmart, Target, and Macy's, but not all merchandise qualifies, so check out the exceptions online. At Costco, electronics and appliances have to be returned within 90 days, but for most of the items they sell, there's no time limit on returns, and you don't even need the receipt. Amazon is extending its typical 30-day return window, but for the holiday season, most items can be returned up until the end of January. Just beware the items purchased through third-party sellers may have different return policies.
The best shot at getting that refund or store credit is to make sure you don't open any of the packaging and save a gift receipt if you got one.
Another tip, you can often save money on shipping fees if you order online. And don't worry, most retailers will still let you return in person at the store. Just don't forget to bring your ID.
3, 2, 1. Let's light it up. Whoa!
And tonight, they flipped the switch on Winter Wonderland in Tillis Park. It happened live on 5 on Your Side at 5. The display opened to car traffic tonight, featuring more than 1 million lights. Winter Wonderland runs through December 30th. For more information on all the holiday lights displays and events around St. Louis, text the word holiday to 314-425-5355.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell was out at Tillis Park earlier tonight, and he joins us now with the weather first forecast. You could not have asked for a better night, Scott.
No, it was nearly perfect. One of the warmer nights we've had out there for sure. Temperatures topping out in the 60s this afternoon. Want to take you live out to the airport right now? Look at the cars lined up here. You think there's some traffic at the airport. Some folks are coming in tonight. Hopefully, if you've got loved ones on the way in on a flight, everything's running okay. Weather and flight delays today, not because of weather, really. For the most part, it's been pretty good. We do have some showers sliding in from the southwest right now. Lambert's dropped back into the 40s, still 53 in Columbia. We look around St. Louis, no rain yet. And what we're seeing to our southwest isn't all that heavy. It's been very light. These are sprinkles. The leading edge of sprinkles perhaps gets into St. Louis along about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Mainly just sprinkles at the very onset because the air is still pretty dry. Our dew point's 31, 47 degrees right now, 64 and 34, the high and low that's going in the record books for today. Overnight tonight, temperatures upper 30s, lower 40s. We'll see those temperatures bottom out as those showers push in, but they are very much on the scattered side through the very early morning hours. Now, we do think the rain will pick up some, and the showers should be a little more widespread south and southeast of St. Louis as we work our way through tomorrow morning and towards lunchtime. But as we head towards lunchtime and thereafter, it's much more scattered, and we don't think there's going to be a whole lot of heavier rain with this. This is mostly light scattered showers that we'll be dealing with as we work through Thanksgiving. Now, that's tomorrow's system, the one that's coming out of Texas and Oklahoma now, but we're turning our attention out there to the snow that's around Denver up into Casper. You might get some good mountain snows, a couple of 3-4 inches for the skiers. That's our next weather system for Saturday. Traveling Friday, no problems. Saturday, this is going to be a more significant rainmaker for us. Large area of rain will be pushing in from the south and southwest Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. This is going to be more widespread. Some of us could very well see more than an inch of rain with this as it moves through Saturday night, very early Sunday morning. By lunchtime Sunday, it's pushing away. So travel conditions on Sunday will be improving during the afternoon hours. Here's your weather first forecast for the next 10 days. Low 50s tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We do have to have those showers around tomorrow. You'll need the umbrella at times. You'll definitely need that umbrella later Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, maybe early Sunday. Then there's a chance we could actually have some thunderstorms along about Tuesday night. We'll be watching another pretty energetic system head our way for the middle of next week.
Nice mild temperatures. I'll take it even with the rain. Scott, thank you. Frank, what's coming up?
And what a shooting night for both Mizzou and SLU. Did the Blues extend their winning streak? A star quarterback from the area is transferring, and the comedian Greg Warren is on this Sportscast. It could be the most impressive stat in the NHL this season. During this 7-game win streak, the Blues only trailed for 16 minutes. Tonight, though, in Buffalo, they trailed early, often, and late. 18 seconds in, and I'm not sure how Jeff Skinner scores this, but he does. Buffalo led it 1-0. Opening moments, second period, Blues on the power play. Pavel Buchnevich is credited with the goal to tie the game at 1. Now, this is how the Blues looked during the 8-game losing streak, giving up 3-on-1s. Dylan Cozens gets the goal. Jordan Binnington didn't have a chance. A few minutes later, Owen Power on the power play with a cannon. Sabres end the 7-game win streak, the final 6-2. The Billikens' win streak is now at 2. They beat Paul Quinn tonight by 43 points. And when you think about it, you should beat them by 43 points. The Billikens have 13 players, and they beat one guy named Paul Quinn. And if you didn't know that they were an NAIA school, you'd think it was a bunch of guys with the same name, kind of like at George Foreman's house. Yori Collins, well, he's roommates with Gibson Jimerson, and you get your roomie the ball, 3 of his 16. But to be honest, Yori gets everybody the ball. Javante Perkins, 3 of his 15. The Bills made 11 three-pointers tonight. Here's Terrence Hargrove Jr. with 3 of his 10. But the story was Yori. 15 assists. This one to Jake Forster. Billikens are 5-1 after a 96-53 victory. They are at Auburn on Sunday. Mizzou hosting Coastal Carolina. And if you want fans and recruits, well, you play fast. Nick Honor to Demoy Hodge. Hodge had 18 points. Coach Gates says, that's what I'm talking about, guys. Here's the guy who could be a difference maker, Isaiah Mosley. A little teardrop off the glass. That's beautiful. He averaged 20 points in back-to-back seasons from Missouri State. Tonight, 23. Now, look at this ball movement. It won't touch the floor. Hodge with one of his team's 12 three-pointers. Mizzou is 6-0 with an 89-51 victory. Today they play the championship game of the Maui Classic. Creighton featuring Trinity grad Ryan Kalkbrenner. He had 16 points. Arizona has a Webster Groves grad, Courtney Ramey. He had 10 points, and Arizona had an 81-79 championship victory. So speaking of local kids doing well, Brett Gabbert is the first quarterback in Miami of Ohio history to start as a freshman. He was the MVP of a bowl game also. He's now in the transfer portal. Gabbert is a stud. He won 2 state titles at CBC and was named the Offensive Player of the Decade by the Post-Dispatch. And in Miami of Ohio, already been contacted by schools from the Big Ten, Big 12, and SEC. Mizzou would be a very intriguing destination. The pride of Kirkwood, Greg Warren, the former All-American wrestler turned comedian, is coming to town. He'll be at the Westport Funny Bone December 1st through the 4th. Now, part of his humor is about sports.
I've always been a La Russa fan. I think he's great. And my dad, you know, he was always criticizing Tony. Like, nothing that he did was right. And then Matheny came along. He's like, you know, that's not what Tony do. Tony, now you're like the biggest Tony fan ever.
He'll be a fun watch at Westport.
All right, thanks, Frank.
We all know tomorrow, thousands of calories consumed within minutes. The hours it will take to burn off your Thanksgiving feast. People in North Carolina apparently love their Thanksgiving ham. Take a look at this long line today outside a Honey Baked Ham store in Durham. Somebody forgot to pick up the turkey.
Oh my God.
With the parking lot full, some customers parked on the side of the road, and it made it kind of tricky for traffic to get by. Oh my goodness.
Well, tonight, 16 giant character balloons are inflated and ready to go for the 96 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. This year's parade will also feature 28 floats and 12 marching bands, including Marching Mizzou. And you can watch it all right here tomorrow at 9 a.m. on 5 on Your Side. It will re-air at 2 p.m. in case you're a late riser.
As you prepare for the big meal tomorrow, keep this in mind. The average American consumes 3,100.
Tell us this.
Hi, blame our producer. To 4,500 calories on Thanksgiving. That's as much as 8 Big Macs. It takes the average male nearly 9.5 hours to burn all of those calories. But when you think about it, 2,000 calories is the average per day, and so it's 2 days worth of eating. It's not horrible.
You just wear expandable pants.
Find your favorite yoga pants.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
He has Jesse Eisenberg and Madeline Klein. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. And we hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving.